Welcome to a quick look at Saturday's races. As most of you know, we had a play there for possibly Saturday. I've got to go in tomorrow and probably kept overnight, so hopefully get something out Saturday, but no promises at this stage. I'll try and get out at least pricing and this preview early and see what happens. There's obviously rain predicted, not a lot. Check it now what the latest is. A little bit of rain won't hurt the track anyway. Rail out 6 metres usually means that it's a mad on speed fence position. We've got 5 to 10 mils predicted tomorrow, 1 to 5 Saturday at the moment. 80% chance, 90% chance of rain, so looks like we will get some rain. How much is obviously the big question. No wind around, so if we only get a couple of mils each day, I still think it'll be pretty difficult to run on the fence. It'll be pretty good, and it'll play on pace. Definitely difficult to come wide and win too early, but sort of turning for home. So wanting to save ground up the inside, most likely if you want to run on and on pace is an advantage. First race of the day, 1500 metres. The horse that I've been sort of following is the horse called Manderline. It certainly wasn't an easy task first up over the 1400 metres, then again raced over the 14 the other day, has had solid tempos both times and been beaten by a horse that had a fitness edge on it. Certainly looks its race here to BD Day. You've got the two horses coming across most likely from the outside in Live to Dream Mollified. Neither of those really want a fast tempo, so should see basically its own way in front here. No excuses fitness wise, and certainly D-Day for it. Main dangers, I think Live to Dream will probably fight on. Having a look at the betting, bring this down. $5.50 Manderline. All Too Soon probably gets back on the fence. Did run well first up, can run well here. Wet certainly won't hurt its chances. Just thought it was a little bit one paced and might struggle to pick these up. Might need a little bit more ground nowadays. Main danger looks to be Madam Markovits for mine. I think it can hold a pretty solid position from gate 4, and even though it's a maiden, can run well here. I thought it was the main danger apart from the top one. Palmetier I couldn't really get into. I'm not a big fan of Bella Success. Mollified's Just Honest and Live to Dream, as we sort of talked about. So the class is All Too Soon, but probably gets back on the inside. If you wanted to be really safe, I'd be making Manderline and Madam Markovits positive results and saving on All Too Soon. Eugene's pick's going well, but this is certainly a big step up in grade for it. Race 2. 2000 metre race, not a race I'm too excited about at all. These are one of these races where they tend to take turns. You can see there's no speed. Chief Kidder, Letter to Juliet roll forward, which is in Letter to Juliet's favour, I would imagine. If Impervito can get across these horses inside in the first part, I think it's probably primed here to run as well as it possibly can. Estic Raj is better set up than it was last time. No real surprises here, I don't think. Sort of looking at the betting, I think Letter to Juliet's fair enough around that $5 mark. So is Impervito. I think they're the two best positioned to run well. It's a Fait Accompli is definitely going okay. Royal Stamp was a good effort last start, doesn't want any wet ground at all. And Chief Kidder can set some cheek from in front if it's left alone. Tough race. I think they're the main chances. Letter to Juliet, Impervito, Chief Kidder, It's a Fait Accompli. Yuck. Race 3. Difficult highway. Common Purpose comes up favourite, draws terribly, 17. Certainly was heavily bias assisted last start, but they did run time. The second horse has come out and won in town, so can't knock it too much. I think Equal Balance is trialled up well and well placed in this grade. Highway 66 is obviously a highly talented galloper, and the betting usually tells a good story about him. Draws ideally to sort of camp wherever it wants to. I thought Our Marie was an interesting horse first up, certainly suited 1100, could run well once it dry as possible. And this horse here is the horse that I'm interested in, Loves the Hassle. Courtney Vanderworth, gate 1, not ideal, jumps from the 8 to the 1100. I thought it went really well, thought it had actual upside and could measure up to these, and $67 is an enormous price, $14 the place. Really, really tempting to take nice and early. There are a few winning hopes, but I do think that $14, the $13, the place, Loves the Hassle, is certainly attractive. Just a matter of where it's going to be in the run, but I'm happy to back a runner that needs luck with that sort of price engaged, and there could well be really good tempo with a lot of these horses drawn wide that have the speed. So yeah, Loves the Hassle can be finishing off at big odds. Race 4, another 1100 metre race. Looking at the speed, All Too Huing definitely won't be up there. Pedway, Sanglier, doubt it'll be in the firing line. She Knows and Don't Tease Me definitely looks the one that rolls forward. Zanzibar, they rode a little bit quiet first up and it didn't run too well, so they'll probably be a little bit more aggressive with it. I can certainly see Single Bullet trying to hold a position from that inside gate, even though it's got the blinkers off. So there does look pretty solid tempo on paper. The horses that interest me here, betting wise, we're talking about Single Bullet first up, being a gelding. I thought it's trialling extremely well and very, very well suited this grade. If we look back at Single Bullet's form, we're talking about form around, not even got it there. We're talking about horses with the form the likes of, sorry, I have to do this, my form's just playing up a bit on that sheet. So just going back to his last few runs, Kementari, Siege Quebec, Wild Heart, Test the World further back, that was its preparation, start of the preparation, and then back to Eptima Moves, looked like being in all sorts of a superstar at Moonee Valley. So even though he's beaten a long way here, 3 lengths to Siege Quebec, half a length to Wild Heart's good enough form to line up in this grade. And if he's come on since he's been gelded and the blinkers come off, he's certainly a major player here. She Knows obviously racing well, 49 days between runs and going up in distance is not ideal. Puppet Master racing well, she's got good speed. Argent Dior's a get backer that needs a lot of luck in the run. He can run well, and Sanglier coming up from Melbourne draws nicely to settle just in behind the fast tempo and be the first challenger. So Sanglier is certainly very interesting. So Single Bullet, they're probably the main two in a race that, $6 and $5. I think that's fair enough in this race. Race 5, first of the group races, Group 3. Again, the map's of quite big interest here, even though it wants to hide from me. I thought Neutrality just naturally will lead these comfortably. Diodoro's the one with the 50-50 call. Do they press or not? Probably is a position up there. Tchaikovsky's trialling well, Jonker's trialling okay. And Plaguestone and even Ring-a-Ding-Ding with the blinkers on are all looking for that sort of first 4 or 5 position. So I don't think it's going to be super speed. I think Neutrality should control it quite well and probably needs to roll along a bit to take advantage of his fast cruising speed, but it doesn't look to be super solid tempo on paper, 1 out. I thought Neutrality was certainly the horse to beat off a fast trial. This horse is obviously, his speed is his biggest asset, and it'll be interesting to see if they take advantage of it like I would suggest they need to. Tchaikovsky and most likely, Plaguestone are the closest pursuers in the run. Graf draws the inside with the blinkers on. Thought he trialled up quite well. Ring-a-Ding-Ding gets the blinkers again. Obviously it meets Plaguestone 4.5 kilos worse, but was unlucky not to beat it home, and beat it home comfortably last start. Thought the discrepancy in prices was quite silly. We're talking $5 Neutrality I think is a good price. What price did they beat it? $8. That was a silly price considering the map and if the patterns, what it should likely be. $8, $8.50. Tchaikovsky seems well and truly fair enough. The Jonker I can't have. Plaguestone I can't have really. I think Neutrality, Tchaikovsky, Ring-a-Ding-Ding are the three that are the right prices in their race. Performer's the one I think is well under the odds, obviously trialling quite well. 1100 is going to be short of its best, but will probably be last, looking at the draw and the map. Big chance it is going to be last, and that poses a bit of an issue to its chances. I think it's going to have to put an almighty performance up, and I don't think there's enough tempo in the race to allow for it to happen. So for me, the on pace is Neutrality from Tchaikovsky, and hopefully Ring-a-Ding-Ding can settle a bit closer than what it looks on paper. Race 6, interesting race. I've heard a whisper that Denawi's probably not going to be ridden as aggressively. I know it's been well backed already. There are a couple of scratchings, and it does map to be the only leader in the race really, so it is a strange change of tactics, but that opens it up to horses like probably Intense Force to push forward. I think Graceful Glamour is probably going to go to Melbourne too, so maybe Cloak, Dealmaker, Signor Fox, it's up to them to sort of push forward. Again, not a really strong tempo on paper, you'd say even at best most likely, which so it should play to the on paces again and make it a little bit difficult for those back markers. So we're talking about Outrageous getting well back again, you would imagine. I think $6 is short enough considering it's giving a lot of weight to these runners, and it will probably give ground to them. Toulouse has had a bit of a break and probably gets back as well. Can't really find it. Denawi just drawn that awkward gate. I really don't see how they're going to drag back, but we'll find out if there is a changing tactics announced before the race. I'm sure they will if they plan to take a sit. Celtic draws a nicer gate and can run well. Arameo, I thought it was a strange one. 1550 back to 1400, not a horse I could really find here. Dealmaker's first up off a little freshen. Can't have it. Thought Cloak was over the odds. $13 seems very generous for a horse that probably pushes forward here. I thought its win was good at Newcastle and it could build off that. Signor Fox was really good, and I cannot believe they bet $11. I think that sort of equates to about 9 after scratchings. And that's a great price off a really dominant, strong win off some really dominant trials. Looks a horse well and truly on the up, on the take, gets well back and faces a tough task. Intense Force needs to Focus needs to improve off a maiden win last start, which was okay, but certainly had its chance there. And Mizzy's going well, but well from maiden. I think Denawi is probably the horse to beat if they ride it forward, if they take a sit. That opens it up to horses like Cloak and Signor Fox, who should roll on the speed. I think they're the two value runners, around $13, and we see $6, but it's a shame we missed that early price of sort of $11 Signor Fox, even though it's 9 or 10. That's a great price. Premier's Cup will not spend too much time on this. Avilius is obviously the horse to beat. Crawling tempo last start, overcome it coming from last and put them right away. Really hard to find a clear danger here. Probably only the setup of the 1900 metres second up is the dangerous thing. Really and truly, like you can say, Orvre's first up, Destiny's Kisses off a break. Emperor's Way had its chance in a much easier race last start. Probably peaks here, so some hope. Just a Shadow went okay last start again. Some hope. First Crush comes off a Grafton Cup win. Not much hope, but some hope. Sons of John's going okay. Leopari, I think, struggles. Anything further than this is its probably limit. Black on Gold ran today. Dark Eyes needs to dictate and run along to have its chance. Probably a little bit plain last start, but did stick on. Peaks today. I Am Serious. It jumped significantly and tripped second up, and from a wide gate faces a tough task. Harrison probably needs another lap. Dagny ran today. South Sonic, few issues against it, and same for Domed, who only went fair first up. It looks a really nice race for Avilius. Cannot find a danger with any confidence. Race 8, the CEO Magazine Handicap. Trekking was enormous first up, just wide working, even though it had the weight pull on them. It's still a big win. Jumps 100 metres in trip. We're talking about a map here that looks like possibly Noble Joey, Don't Give a Damn, rolling forward. ISO Rich comes across from the outside. You'd expect, you know, a pretty much a little bit above average tempo here, which should help the likes of Renewal and Trekking to get into the race, but Miscue and Intuition can set a little bit closer from the inside draws. The wild card's probably Machine Gun Job's first up for a new stable. I think there's 4 good winning hopes here. I think Trekking's a good hope, but it draws awkwardly. I think Don't Give a Damn's got a chance, but if I have to risk one of these four, it's the one I want to risk. I haven't got it in my four. I think Intuition's absolutely airborne, needs luck from that inside draw. Miss Q draws better, can settle closer, sort of had to be pulled out of the race a bit there when looked to be getting caught wide last start, and can certainly improve significantly. And Renewal's first up with James McDonald, interesting to see him riding 54 kilos. He doesn't do that very often, so this horse is obviously going extremely well, and $8 is at least a fair enough price. So we said the winning chances at Trekking, Intuition, Miss Q and Renewal for mine all need a little bit of luck. If they get it, can be in the finish. Last race of the day, Paray, already been back 290 to 232.40, drawn gate 13, now out to 1500 metres. It's not an easy race at all, I don't think, to finish the day. There does look a bit of value around the favourite. We're talking a race that doesn't look to have much speed at all. Sammed Out, which ran today, or sorry, ran Wednesday, is unlikely to run, so maybe Prometheus and Mapmaker make the speed possible. Maybe Social Element Fresh could roll forward. There's not a huge amount of tempo here, which is against the favourite in Paray and against a few other runners that look likely candidates. High Mister's a horse that needs a bit of cut out of the ground. I thought Eagle Bay took forever to wind up last start and couldn't come into it this short. Probably wants a mile and further. Paray's obviously going very well, but where does it get to? Probably last, probably wide. So Sammed Out's unlikely to run. So Barb ran an extremely strong time there at Warwick Farm last start. I'm not sure what the go was there, but does draw well and cannot eliminate it on that run alone last start. That was a good effort. Sanction just whacked away last time. Maybe building to something a little bit better, and the draw possibly helps, but not a horse I'm too excited about. It's waiting for Social Element to build its fitness. I can't have level 8, can't have opposition. Mapmaker lobs naturally into a good challenging position here, whether it be leader, behind leader, and can certainly run well. Prometheus has no rider engaged. It's interesting to see where it goes. If it runs, it's got a chance, certainly from that outside gate, and $18 represents good value. And the bottom one, Travancore, if you totally forgive that last run and from a better draw, hopefully you can hold a better position, 25 to 1 could be the value play of the day. $7 the place looks enormous odds in a race that really does look to not line up for a few horses that maybe not going as well as they can, and Paray has to put up another strong effort from a wide draw where it looks to get back on a moderately run race to round these up again. So Travancore each way, a quick run through sort of the overs. I think Mandalorian 550 is a big price, obviously only available at the one place there. Madam Markovit's $12 is over the odds too for mine. Race 1. Race 2, yuck race, no real value. Race 3, I think Loves a Hassle, $14, $13 a place, a great price. Race 4, Single Bullet from Sanglier with a strong lean to Single Bullet. Race 5, I think Neutrality will be very hard to beat, $5 saving on small results out of Tchaikovsky and Ring a Ding Ding. Race 6, I think the value's in Cloak and Senior Fox. Race 7, yuck. Race 8, too difficult. 4 chances throwing, Trekking, Intuition, Miss Q and Renewal in the quaddie. And the last, I think the value's in Travancore each way. Thanks guys, and hopefully I'll have more information to you before Saturday. I'll send out a market or something in the morning with this preview, and hopefully I'll be able to update it. I'll be in a decent enough position to health-wise to get it done. Thanks guys.